Vijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Yashodanandam Prajanathanam Yamuna Tiravana Jai Yashodanandam Prajanathanam Yamuna Tiravana Jai Jai Radha Vijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajjanatanyana Yamuna Tiravana Jai Yashodanandana Vrajjanatanyana Tiravana Jai Jai Radha Kunja Vihari Vijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajjanatanyana Yamuna Tiravana Jai Yashodanandana Vrajjanatanyana Jai Radha Vijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Vijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Krishna Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna
Why is that?
Srila Prabhupada ki Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki Jai. Adore Premanam. Glories to the single Lord, glories to the single Lord, glories to the single Lord, glories to Sri Guru Sri It's in there. Yeah, I was told that sound will be better. So Hare Krishna to everyone. Hare Krishna to everyone in the Zoom. Thank you very much for joining this morning's Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam session. So we will be meditating upon verse 555 today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim
Devim
Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutirayet Bhadreshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishna
Devaki
Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya
Kumaraya Govindaya Namo.
Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namo.
So, reciting verse number 5 from chapter 5 of Canto 5. entitled Lord Rishabhdev's teachings. So let's recite the verse. Parabhavasthavadabodhajato
पराभवत्प्रभात्-अबोधजातो
yavanna jigyasat atmatattvam
यावन्न
यावन्नजिज्ञासदात्मतत्त्वम्
जिज्ञासदात्मतत्त्वम्
yavat kriyasthavadidam manovai
यावत् प्रियास्तावदिदं मनोवै
कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः
कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः
भवस्तावदबोधजातो
पराभवस्त्वावदबोधजातो
यावन्न जिज्ञासत आत्मतत्त्वम्
यावन्न जिज्ञासतात्मतत्त्वम्
यावत् क्रियास्तावदिदं मनो वै
यावत् प्रियास्वादिदं मानवै
कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः
कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः
भवस्तावदबोधजातो
पराभवस्त्वादबोधजातो
यावन्न जिज्ञासतात्मतत्त्वम्
यावन्न जिज्ञासतात्मतत्त्वम्
यावत् क्रियास्तावदिदं मनो वै
यावत् प्रियास्वादिदं मनोवै
कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः
कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः प्रावदबोधजातो यावन्न जिज्ञासतात्मतत्त्वम् यावत् प्रियास्वादिदं मनोवै कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः कादम्बरी माताजी
पराभवस्तावद् अवोधजातो
स्वादबोधजातो
यावन्न जिज्ञास्त आत्मा तत्त्वम्
यावन्न जिज्ञासतात्मतत्त्वम्
यावत् क्रियास्तावद् इदं मनो वै
यावत् क्रियास्वादिदं मनोवै
कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः
कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः
पराभवस्तावद्बोधजातो
पराभवस्त्वादबोधजातो
यावन्न जिज्ञासत आत्मतत्त्वम्
यावन्न जिज्ञासतात्मतत्त्वम्
यावत्
यावत् क्रियास्तावदिदं मनो वै
यावत् प्रियस्वादिदं मनोवै
कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः
कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः पराभवस्त्वादबोधजातो
पराभवस्तावद् अमोघजातो
यावन्न जिज्ञासतात्मतत्त्वम्
यावन्न जिज्ञासतात्मतत्त्वम्
यावत् क्रियास्त्वादिदं मनोवै
यावत् क्रियास्तावद् इदं मनो वे
कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः
कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धः
Parabhava,
पराभव
defeat, misery.
defeat
defeat
misery
misery
Tavat,
Tavat,
so long.
so long
Abodha jata,
abodhajata
Yatah,
produced from ignorance.
produced from
from
ignorance
ignorance
Yavat,
yavat
Yavat,
as long as.
as
as
long
long as
No,
no,
not.
not
not
Jigyasate,
jigyasate
Jigyasate
inquires about.
inquires
inquires
about
about
Atma Tattvam,
atmatattvam,
Atma-tattvam,
truth of the self.
truth
the
of
truth
the self.
of the self.
Yavat,
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 as long as.
as long
as
as
long as
Kriyaha,
kriyaha,
fruitive activities.
fruitive activities,
activities.
Tavat,
tavat,
Yavat,
so long.
so
so
long,
long
Idam,
idam,
idam
this.
this,
this
Manaha,
manaha,
manaha
mind.
mind,
mind
Where?
well
Indeed,
indeed,
indeed
karma atmakam,
karma
karma
atmakam,
atmakam
absorbed in material activities.
absorbed in
absorbed in
material
material
activities,
activities
Yena,
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 which
by
by
which
which
Sharira Bandha,
sharirabandhaha,
bondage in this material body.
bondage in this
bondage in
material
material body.
Translation, let's recite this once. As long as one
as long
As
as
long as
one
one
does not inquire about
does
does
not
not
inquire
inquire
about
about
the spiritual values of life,
The
the
spiritual
spiritual
values of
values of
life,
life,
one is defeated
one is
one is
defeated
defeated
and subjected to
and
and subjected to
to
miseries arising from ignorance,
miseries
miseries
arising from
arising from
ignorance,
ignorance.
be it sinful or pious.
be
Be
it
it sinful or
sinful or
pious,
pious.
Karma has its resultant actions.
karma
karma
has
has
its
resultant
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 actions.
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 If a person is engaged
If
If
a
a
person
person
is
is
engaged
engaged
in any kind of karma,
in
in
any
any
kind of
kind of
karma,
karma,
his mind is called karmatmakam,
his
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 mind is
mind is
mind is
called
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 karmatmaka,
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 colored with fruitive activity.
colored
colored with
with
fruitive
fruitive
activity.
active
activity.
activity.
As long as the mind is impure,
As
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 long
long as
long
the
as
as
the
the
mind is
mind is
mind is
impure,
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 consciousness is unclear.
consciousness
consciousness
is
is
consciousness is
unclear.
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 And as long as one is absorbed
And
And
as
as
long
long
As
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 long
one
as
is
one
one
is
is
absorbed
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 in fruitive activity,
in
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 fruitive
fruitive
activity,
fruitive
activity,
activities,
he has to accept a material body.
he
he
has
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 to
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 accept
accept
a
a
accept a
material
material
body.
material
body.
body.
Generally, people think that one should act very piously in order to be relieved from misery. But this is not a fact. Even though one engages in pious activity and speculation, he is nonetheless defeated. His only aim should be emancipation from the clutches of Maya and all material activities. Speculative knowledge and pious activity do not solve the problems of material life. One should be inquisitive to understand his spiritual position. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4:37, Yathadham se samvidhogne bhasmat kurute arjuna jnana agni sarva karmani ham bhasmasat kurute tatha. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. Unless one understands the self and its activities, one has to be considered in material body. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10:32, it is also said, Enne arvindaksha vimuktamanina tvai ashtabhavat avisuddha buddhaya. A person who doesn't have knowledge of devotional service may think himself liberated, but actually he is not. Aruhya krichena param padam tata patanti adho anadrita yusmad-angraya. Such people may approach the impersonal Brahman effulgence, but they fall down again into material enjoyment because they have no knowledge of devotional service. As long as one is interested in karma and jnana, he continues enduring the miseries of material life, birth, old age, disease, and death. Karmis certainly take on one body after another. As far as jnanis are concerned, unless they are promoted to the topmost understanding, they must return to the material world. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, Bahunam Jananam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. The point is to know Krishna, Vasudeva as everything, and surrender unto him. Karmis do not know this, but a devotee who is 100% engaged in the devotional service of the Lord knows fully what is karma and jnana. Therefore, a pure devotee is no longer interested in karma or jnana. Anya avilashita sunyam jnana karmadi ananda. The real bhakta is untouched by any tinge of karma and jnana. The only purpose in life is to serve the Lord. Om
Vedandasya jnanasya
Militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Kam karoti vācālam pangum dandhayate Yat kripātvamaham vande Shri Gurumadīnataram Yat kripātvamaham vande Paramanandanaram Paramananda Pāthāya Prema Varshakshārayate Sarvada Devyāya Shri Krishnāya Namaste. Hare Krishna. Once again. So we have been meditating upon the instructions of Lord Rishabdev and his sons. These instructions are meant for not just his sons, actually they are meant for all of us. So in this chapter, Lord Rishabdev is very much bringing our attention to the topmost goal of human life, that is Bhakti Yoga. And anything other than that is a defeat, a loss. So, and he is explaining in these verses that how if we do not take up that path, what will be the outcome of our endeavor and the end result of our life. So, already in the last 4 verses spoken in this chapter, I've given all the clue how not to face the problems of life, well, how to free oneself from the perpetual problems of human life. Vatsevadvaram ahurvinukte namodvaram yoshikasans. One of the previous verses, Rishabdev has already given all the clue. But in today's verse, he's talking about if we remain in ignorance and do not take the path of freedom and engage ourselves in the activities meant to enjoy the body and mind and senses, then the last line says karmatmakam yena sharirabandha. First 3 lines describe the activities. If we perform, then what will happen? The last line describes the outcome, the result. Karmatmakam yena sharirabandha. So Lord Rishabdev is trying to wake us up from the dream. As long as we are in this material world, we are in a sleep or dream state. Dream because we are constantly dreaming to be happy. Constantly dreaming to be happy in this material world, but that is not to be. It's not there. So in reality, it's a dream. In our dream, we may dream to be a king of the whole world, but as soon as the dream breaks, finishes, then we come to the reality. So here, these verses are in a way alarm, just like a set of alarm in our clock to wake us up from our sleep. So these verses are like Athato Brahma Jigyasa. It's telling us that, the wonderful bhajans we have by our Vaishnava-acharyas, which basically capture the sense of Vedic scripture. Jiva jago, jiva jago. Jiva jago, jiva jago. Gaura chanda. Otha nidra jago. Rishachi. So all these great personalities are trying to wake us up. From what? From our dream. And it begins with understanding, because unless we come to the point of realizing our true identity, who we are, and what is the goal of our existence, we are in a sleep or dream state. So here, Lord Rishabdev is saying that Parabhava, that you will be subjected to defeat and misery as long as you remain in ignorance. So ignorance here in this verse is described in terms of engaging ourselves in karma and jnana. Because as we know from Bhagavad Gita, regardless, the verse says here, as long as one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defeated. So we need to understand the word defeat. If our goal is to climb at the top of Mount Everest, and this is very crude, gross example, if that is equal to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, then unless you reach there, everything else, you may be very close to it, you may be on the way to it, still, in strict sense, it's a defeat because you have not reached the ultimate goal. Here, it is said that as long as one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defeated and subjected to miseries arising from ignorance, be it sinful or pious. Karma has its resultant actions and in purport. Srila Prabhupada writes here that generally people think that one should act very piously in order to be relieved from misery. And a lot of people in this world are engaged in such pious activities, building a hospital, doing charity, providing free food. So many pious activities are taking place. And the general understanding is that if you do that, your life will be peaceful and also your journey to next life will also be very nice. But we also understand from Bhagavad Gita that whether these, as long as we are performing materialistic activities, we are going to remain in the material world. If we perform pious activities, then we will be elevated to the planet where the pious conditions prevail. So you will be very comfortable life. You will have conditions maybe in the mode of goodness, just like the heavenly planets. But for how long? As long as the punya karma finishes, we come down again. And even if it doesn't, even if you manage to stay there for long, you are still not free from the four universal problems of this material world: birth, death, old age, and disease. So you are going to be subjected to the miseries of life. So it's a defeat. Victory is defined in terms of freeing ourselves and being engaged in our eternal occupational duties, which is to serve the lotus feet of the Lord and perpetually serve the lotus feet of the Lord. That's the real victory. So, this point is highlighted again and again here. He is nonetheless defeated. So, past activity may elevate us to heavenly planet. That's the karmic activities, karma, yoga. Even. If you perform activities and even if you approach to the Lord for material benediction, your desire is to enjoy it, and that's why you're approaching the Lord. So you stay here. Of course, that's better than being ignorant and depending on your own endeavor that since I've worked hard, I must get the outcome. That is karma mimamsa philosophy. Completely ruling out the involvement of the Lord in karmic process. So, this is what is mentioned here. And Srila Prabhupada says here, this verse says that as long as our mind and body and words are engaged in material activities, we are in karma. We are engaging ourselves in karma. So, if our body is performing karmic activity, that means it has gone through the process of thought process already, mind is already engaged. And as long as we perform materialistic activity, body, mind will be engaged. So, Lord Rishabhdev is emphasizing that Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport then, actually the speculative knowledge, Jnana Yoga, also Jnana Yoga, we know the highest destination it can provide to us is free us from this material world, but not permanent. It can take us to Brahman intelligence, Brahma Jyoti. Since you have exercised the power of your intelligence to remain aloof from the material enjoyment, and therefore you cross over this material world to on the other side. But if you have not cultivated desire to serve the lotus feet of the Lord, then how long can you stay there without activity? You may experience a little peace and a little bit of bliss because you have transcended the boundary of this universe where the miseries prevail. You've gone on the other side where there is no miseries. But since you have not really desired to actively engage in the service of the Lord, you won't be able to stay long enough. You get idle, bored, because the very nature of soul is to be active. And you have not desired to serve the Lord. So what will you do? Actually, the pleasure is a function of the Hladini potency of the Lord, of Srimati Radharani, isn't it? And if when we go on the other side of the universe to the spiritual world, especially in Brahma Jyoti, we have basically accessed the two of the internal potencies of the Lord, Samvit and Sandhana. You have not desired to serve or utilize the Hladini energy of the Lord. And without that, you cannot derive pleasure. So, therefore, the Shastra is emphasized again and again that the only source of true and eternal happiness is being engaged in the service of the Lord. Without the mercy of Radharani, without the mercy of Lord's superior potency, we cannot give pleasure to the Lord and we cannot derive eternal pleasure to ourselves. So here, Srila Prabhupada quotes the verse 437, where he says, as a blazing fire burns fire to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burns, accept all reactions to material activity. So the point there is that knowledge, what is that knowledge? The transcendental knowledge, devotional knowledge. Srila Prabhupada gives the example of body and different limbs of the body. The hands can be in healthy state and can enjoy as long as hand is cooperating with the body, serving the body. Can you imagine hands enjoying Rasulullah while being separate from the body? Can never be possible. So Srila Prabhupada writes that our problem is that we are trying to enjoy the energies of the Lord in separation from the Lord. So the hand can be happy as long as it serves the body. So we can be happy as long as it serves the body. This is the knowledge. This is transcendental knowledge. This is devotional knowledge. That any endeavor we make to enjoy, regardless of which process, without accepting our eternal relationship with the Lord, of being a servant, the Lord being the enjoyer, we being the subject to be enjoyed, we will not be happy. So this is the point being made here. So bhakti is highlighted again and again. So we may compare another analogy Srila Prabhupada gives is of being tied, being bound, handcuffed. Whether you are handcuffed with iron material or silver material, golden material, you are still handcuffed. So karma jnana, karma yoga may be, iron handcuff. Jnana yoga may be silver handcuff. Even mystic yoga may be golden handcuff. But you are still bound. You will not liberate. So really, the only process which can liberate us in true sense and maintain us in that liberated position is no handcuff. And that is the bhakti. Srila Prabhupada also makes another very important point here. Many times, when we do not have proper knowledge, we think we are liberated. He says, a person who doesn't have knowledge of devotional service may think himself liberated, but actually he is not. So that's the point I was trying to emphasize here. The real liberation is not to get out of this material world and be merged or situated in Brahma Jyoti and doing nothing. Real liberation is being engaged in the service of the Lord. That is real liberation. You cannot attain a liberated state of existence on a permanent basis without understanding and establishing and being actively engaged in this understanding who we are. When we meditate upon beautiful bhajans given by our acharyas like Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Narottam Das Thakur, every bhajan we sing essentially gives us the highest knowledge and explains the ultimate goal of human life. One of the favorite bhajans of Srila Prabhupada was Narottam Das Thakur's Hari Hari Vipule Janani. And we say, Manusya Janama Paya Radha Krishna Nabhajiha Janeha Suniha Visha Kainu Janeha Suniha Visha Kainu Hari Hari Vipale Janam Gainu. So, in the context of today's words, if we engage ourselves in karma and jnana, then essentially we are, from our eternal relationship perspective, we are simply eating poison. Janiya suniya vishakhai. Rishabda is trying to free us from these tendencies to eat poison. Because whether you are taking a little bit of poison or too much poison, the result is that eventually you will be drowned, you will be dead. So our position is that even when we have knowledge, the absolute knowledge of who we are and what is our relationship with the Lord and what is our ultimate duty, we still engage in this karma dhyana. Many times, even in our devotees, we see Srila Prabhupada spent his whole life teaching us one thing, that Lord Krishna is supreme. He is our ultimate shelter. Still, many times we see devotees run here and there to this demigod, that demigod. And then where is the question of full surrender? If Krishna is your ultimate refuge, then approach him for everything. Just like Narada Muni advised to Dhruva. And I can't remember whether he was not advised to Dhruva himself. Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udharani. The brain of bhakti yoga yadde shakti. So the point is here that we have to come to the point of not only theoretically understanding that bhakti yoga is the only process which can provide us the ultimate liberation, but also stay focused on this understanding and not be distracted by so many temptations around us. If we have this health problem, if we have this family problem, if we have got a child, we run here and there to personalities other than Lord Krishna. That is not full surrender. Full surrender means He is our only shelter. In all situations, we are in conditioned state of existence. We face many problems in our life. We may have many material desires. Approach Lord Krishna. Because when we approach Lord Krishna, somehow we come in touch with Lord Krishna or his pure devotees, our life will be beautiful. Just like we see the example of very famous example of fruit seller, fruit vendor who was selling the fruit for her own living and so forth. And somehow this baby Krishna happens to come. And that changed her life completely. So her karmic mentality changed into devotion. Here also one important point made by Srila Prabhupada is so many important points here. Karmis do not know this. What is karma, what is jnana? Here say, a devotee who is 100% engaged in the whole service of Lord knows fully what is karma and jnana. So the point also is that bhakti is not something in white. What I'm trying to say here is that bhakti involves activities and thinking and analyzing. Devotional activities, we say. So activities, karma is there, action is also there, and that is geared towards serving the senses of the Lord. So that therefore it becomes akarma or niskarma. That is the purest form of karma, is that. Jnana is also any devotional knowledge, any knowledge which helps us with our devotional services. And I can think of the example of Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda is performing activities all the time, planning all the time how to please baby Krishna. So she is utilizing both. Her body in terms of activities, and also have intelligence in terms of planning. Yashoda Maya had 9 lakh cows, but because Krishna was running here and there, stealing butter from different houses, she was thinking, what's wrong with my yogurt and my milk? So she planned to provide the best to Lord Krishna, so he doesn't run to anyone's house. So here she applied her intelligence to plan how to serve Krishna better. So she picked very few cows, and they were fed very selective, best quality fodder. Pushpagandha cow, I think. Pushpagandha, right? Padmagandha. So, and then she would reserve the milk from them, and while everything. So, what the point I'm trying to say here is that Dharma, Karma, and Jnana, they are there. They are subservient to Bhakti. The Karma and Jnana mentioned here are the ones which are pious and pious activities which bind us to this material world, either elevate us to heavenly planet or glide us down even further to hellish planets if we are engaged in simple activity. Jnana can take us to spiritual, sphere, but not the spiritual planets. You'll be there. So a devotee knows what are the activities and how one should be applying knowledge in serving the interest of the Lord and its representatives, spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada quotes this verse, Anya Vilashata Sunyam Gyan Karmadya Anabhutam. So that is the pure state of devotion. In that state, you are on a spontaneous platform, and that drives everything. You don't mechanically think so much of all these karma and dhyana. I think of the example of this being on an L plate. When we are on L plate, we, especially in the beginning, you would figure out where is clutch, nowadays we don't have too many manual cars, so the clutch is gone. But I learned on manual, and we have to know brake and clutch and accelerator. 3 things you have to coordinate. You have to use both feet, But once you've learned it and driven enough, then it's there. All those activities are still performing, but you are not mechanically performing, automatically performing. So it's like that. When we reach to the unalloyed platform, spontaneous platform, everything is performed. It's all done. It's not that you're not doing any activities, or you're not. There is spiritual intelligence, there is spiritual mind, there is spiritual body, everything, they're all actively giving pleasure. The point I would also like to highlight here is that this chapter will highlight again and again, and I think it said already, what is the secret of liberating oneself from this material world is associated with sadhu. Without that, it's impossible. And Srila Prabhupada is a burning example of this. All these hippies who were engaged in karma and jnana and yoga, they had different paths they have taken in their life. They were frustrated, and as soon as Srila Prabhupada appeared in their life, that satsanga, that association, pure devotee started acting, and then started burning their karmic and jnana and mystic yoga mentality, and they turned to bhakti and devotion. So this is the power of sadhu sangha. And power of bhakti is also very nicely described in Padma Purana. And I can think of the example of Mrigari, the hunter, which illustrates this powerful instruction given in Padma Purana, Aprarabdha phalam papam, putam vijas phalonmukham, karaneva praliyate Vishnu bhakti ratatma. So this verse says that when we perform devotional services to Lord Krishna, it burns up all our reactions, pious and pious, burns up all our materially motivated reactions, thoughts and actions, everything, not of just this life, even prarabdhas, which haven't manifested, they are there, all gone. Whether your karmic reactions are in dormant state, or in seedling state, or even bearing the fruit. Law of karma is so strict that the minute we contemplate of some action, it's a conceptual stage. Basically, you have already begun the journey of karma. Just thinking that I am going to steal something from bank, I'm just going to steal money from the bank. You have just thought about it. You have just thought about it. You've already sown the seed. You haven't implemented it yet. But the moment you decide, no, you are just thinking that I want to, maybe I should rob the bank. You are just thinking. You already begun the bija. And then the minute you have decided, yes, I am going to do it, that you have already gone one step further. And once you have done it, that's basically you have already prepared the fruit of it. Alone will come. And then the prarabdha will come, police will come and attach. That is, you're already reaping the reaction of it. But this power of bhakti is so much so that it frees you from all these things. But of course, one has to follow the instructions given to us by the pure devotees. This Mrigari the hunter, he was engaged in so much sinful activity, but he became pure devotee. What happened to all his karmas? Sinful activities burnt up by the power of bhakti, by the power of association with the sadhu, like Narada Muni. So he followed all the instructions given to him by Narada Muni. He stopped doing those activities and he followed exactly what Narada Muni said, and he became a pure devotee. So such is the power of bhakti, power of association with sadhu sangha. And as a human being, we should take these instructions of Lord Krishna very seriously, not waste our time in performing mixed bhakti, which mixed with desire to enjoy ourselves, desire to have go to higher planet, or even desire to merge into the body of the Lord, or even desire to have mystic powers, so I can fly in the air and I can, enter into somebody's body and terrorize and so forth. All those things will not help us. This is the message given by Lord Rishabhdev, and we can by applying the knowledge given here to his sons in our own life, we can also be saved from the defeat Srila Prabhupada is highlighting here again and again this verse. Yes, I'll read the translation again. As long as one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defeated and subjected to miseries arising from ignorance. Be it sinful or pious, karma has its resultant actions. If a person is engaged in any kind of karma, his mind is called karmatmaka, colored with fruitive activity. As long as the mind is impure, consciousness is unclear, and as long as one is absorbed in fruitive activity, he has to accept a material. So, the clear warning Rishabhdev is giving to us that how we can save ourselves by not letting our mind be contaminated with thoughts of being promoted to the heavenly planet or being promoted to Brahmajyoti. We cannot stay there for long. So the real engagement is to think of Lord Krishna, desire to serve Lord Krishna, engage one's body, mind, and words in serving Lord Krishna. practice here in association with sadhus and devotees. This material world is a laboratory where we practice. And then, by mercy of Guru and Krishna, God is very merciful. He will fulfill our desire to engage us in His service. So this is the message I take it here from this verse. This verse is to wake us up from our dream. The real waking up is take a bath. Association. Without association devotee, we cannot be saved. There are so many wonderful examples in scriptures. I just thought of Nagari the Hunter because this verse of Padma Purana was coming to my mind. But faith is very critical. Faith is very critical. So I'll stop here. It's nearly 8:30. I think it's 8:30. So, any thoughts or comments? Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhu, for very nice. Appreciate that a lot. Jiva gets along with the karma. Now, from perspective of devotees, there are lots of activities for them, and there are so many things, responsibilities, big responsibilities to go through. So, how to kind of practically recognize that those all activities or everything, they are just not simply karma under a religious kind of environment, or they are like transforming people. Like in other words, like how that transformation, like how to practically recognize.
Yes, we have a body, we have mind, we have family, we have so many responsibility in this material world. As long as we have this material body, we need to take care of it. No responsibility. It's question of consciousness. Ultimately, it's a question of consciousness. One may be performing the same activity, but the consciousness is the most critical. When we simple example, we may be walking and there is flower garden, we see a flower and we get attracted to it, pick it up. One may pick it up and be focused on smelling and enjoying it. But the same activity another person performs, but thinks of offering to Lord Krishna and then enjoy. So the same activity, but consciousness is the key thing here. So in our day-to-day life, firstly that because if we are serious on advancing on the path of transcendence, then we have to dovetail, we have to guard our life in such a way that that journey is facilitated. So therefore we have to apply the Saranagati principle that what is that? Anukulasya sankalpam pratikulasya vivartita. So we accept whatever is favorable, what supports bhakti, and we reject what does not support bhakti. So we have to be mindful of that. It's not just that we can perform any activity. Krishna has given instructions clearly that what activities will please him. And he doesn't demand them all. He demands switch in our consciousness really, because bhakti is beyond the material boundaries also. So it's in the end, it says that mind is impure, then the consciousness is impure. So we have to purify our mind. So the thought process has to be there. It has been switched. So Krishna does not expect everybody to become a pure devotee straight away. So he has described methodology, processes by which we can still be Krishna conscious. Atah Pambir Vijaya Srestha, what is that? Parnashrama Vibhansa. Swanutishtatsa Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritosha. So all of us here sitting are in family life and with family responsibility. But as long as we take care of our children, grandchildren, husband and wife, considering them as part and parcel of the Lord, switching our consciousness that they are not source of mind enjoyment, rather somehow I have to utilize them in giving pleasure to the Lord, and I also become servant to them in some ways, assisting them in their service to the Lord. The same activity but becomes pleasurable. It becomes pleasurable because you have the highest result in your mind all the time. So, and it helps actually a great deal detach from them also. A great deal, because you are not seeing them as source of your enjoyment. You are simply an instrument, nimitta matra. So, because whether you like it or not, one day we'll be forced to give up everything. And if that forcefulness is there because we don't like to give up, and if we prepare towards that, then that is not an issue at the end of this life. And it's a long journey. It's a question of switching our consciousness and mind in such a way. That's why we could read all these scriptures and associate sadhus every day, so we don't get polluted, contaminated by all these thoughts which will glide us down. So, Varnashram Dharma is there. Varnashram Dharma, Lord Krishna himself created it and he divided it. So, within the framework of Varnashram Dharma, which allows us to take care of each other's needs, material needs, as well as spiritual needs, you remain in Krishna consciousness as long as you follow those. Activities will be same. You are serving everyone around us and everybody else serving around us, but the goal is we are conscious of all, Krishna in all our activities. And of course, sadhana bhakti also entails all these things, regulating our thoughts and activities and relations. While following this regulated way of life as part of our Varnashram Dharma, sadhana bhakti, we come to the platform pure bhakti gradually. It's not a process. But the more we apply this knowledge and follow the activities, the faster it will be. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give that very knowledge. So Bhava Bhattacharya, who was so proud of his Vedic knowledge, and he was focused on that. And by association with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became a pure devotee and he composed a beautiful verse. What is that? Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Siksha Pratameka Purusha Puranam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dhari Kripam Budeyas Mamaham Prapadye. So we have to utilize the knowledge given to us. Vairagya Vidya he came to give, and he came here to teach his own bhakti. So Srila Prabhupada is essentially doing that. Not Chaitanya, giving us that knowledge by which we can also somehow increase our attachment to Krishna and our ultimate duty, while not neglecting our temporary intermediate duties while we are in this material world, in this material body. Krishna never said, give up everything. That's not possible for everyone. To give up everything and just in the gradual process. Otherwise, there will be chaos and havoc in the society. Everybody neglects. It's already happening because we neglect the very instructions given to us by Krishna. Nobody is following. That's why. So, Prabhuji, I just try to answer the question in principle, but ultimately it comes down to consciousness. It's the consciousness in which you perform your activities determines. Consciousness means also intention. What intention? Krishna knows that. That's why it's Bhavagrahi.
So, like, as you mentioned, like the rules and regulations for Vaidya Bhakti. So, if someone reaches the Ragana Bhakti, so this karma will not affect them anymore.
If you think of technically the ladder of bhakti, then it is said that until you come to the stage of prema, you are still subject to Allah. And one example is Maharaj. He was already at Bhava stage, and we might still attracted to this pious activity of taking care of deer. So yes, but that's a rare example, but the risk is always there. That's why Srila Prabhupada always pray to the deities, please help me, please save me. When a devotee begins once his journey, her journey on devotional path, then the spiritual energy of the Lord is protecting, and if there are any ups and downs, it's for the purification, for strengthening our commitment to the Lord also. So, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful points. A devotee has two levels of consciousness, progressive path of bhakti. Here, karmatmaka means, atmaka means our existence becomes karma. Dehatma means we consider Deha as Atma. Krishna Atma, we consider Krishna as our, Atma. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives two examples. We can very nicely relate, and that answers Prabhu's question for Ranganath Bhakti. We are all engaged in our family activities, different engagements. So, one level is your bhakti depends on karma and jnana. And the second level is your karma and jnana depends on bhakti. If you understand carefully, the two examples Mahaprabhu gives is, one is a maid servant. See, a maid servant, for her maintenance and her family maintenance, she goes to different homes to do some work. Even though she is engaged in many activities, but her consciousness is to how to maintain family. Even though she is very busy in others' activities, but she never forgets her own activities. This is the maid servant's activity. But she cannot give up these activities, because if she doesn't do these activities, she cannot maintain her family. So here, engaging as a maid servant is required for maintenance of her family. So imagine if we are Krishna conscious and if we have relationship with Krishna, so our original family is Krishna. And because we have these requirements, we engage in different activities, different karma, jnana, and those. But if you give up, then what happens? Then who knows? We might give up our own family, because there will be risk. So this is called bhakti depending upon karma and jnana. As such, bhakti is independent, but for you to do bhakti, you have to do these things. This is called karmatmaka at one stage. And the second thing, Mahaprabhu tells this to Rupa Goswami in that letter after he met Rupa and Sanatana and Ramakeva. He says, you should be like working as if you have a paramour. You understand paramour? Maid servant and paramour, both are engaged in activities which it's not relevant to what their own position. But when you are working in our day-to-day activities, it appears that these things are very much essential, to manage your own paramour in that sense. But when there is a requirement, then what happens? You give up your own, karma and jnana, because for the sake of paramour. This is an advanced stage of bhakti, and it is called Ranganath bhakti. Because this lady has developed some attraction for someone after coming. See, very important psychology. Everything we can learn from the society. Nothing is abominable or nothing is pure in that sense. See, extramarital affairs starts after you get married. That means you have found some attraction in something else other than what you have. This is the science. So, while we engage in bhakti, if you found that, oh, there is so much happiness with Krishna, with Krishna bhakti, then what happens? For us, Krishna becomes our paramount. Then we maintain our family, the engagements and everything for sake of him. The moment when it is disturbing, then we give up altogether. This is called Ragana. Attachment, the spontaneous attachment. Every time she tries how to please her parent. So at the moment, we are a maid servant. Remember, we are a maid servant. Maid servant means legitimately fulfilling our karma and jnana, because without fulfilling them, we cannot do bhakti. But when we become very advanced in bhakti, then we start relishing our relationship with Krishna than anyone else. Then you think these are all decorations. Even if you lose one of these, rather you will be more blissful. Okay, finished. My path is very clear. But if it is obstructing you, she takes one knife and kills everyone. Husband, wife, children, everyone. Go runs to. Even Mahaprabhu gives this example. This is a very important concept. This is called this gopis. Now, when Krishna played the flute, nothing. Babies, they were there, and the husbands were there. The parents were telling not to go. No, we have to go towards Krishna. So,
Thank you very much for a very nice elaboration. I think Mahaprabhu also gives this analogy to Ranganath.
yeah.
Eternally be with Krishna and externally be with your family. So yes, so once we have come to this raga, you're following the raga. So when your attraction is strong, then basically that relationship, that thought to be with the, with the beloved and so forth, and giving pleasure, it works in your heart, in your consciousness all the time. You may be in that relationship, but you're constantly thinking, just like that time Prabhu is talking about. So this is the consciousness.
This is again Ragatmika Bhakti and Ragatmika Sadhana Bhakti. Even that spontaneous thing also we should practice. How that is to practice? We should start associating with those people who already developed spontaneous attraction. They are called Ragatmika Bhakti. And when we follow them, we get Ragatmika.
So Ragatmika.
So karma means doing karma is their essence, called karma. Ragatmika means having attachment to Krishna is their essence. And who are these Ragatmika bhaktas? Yashoda, Srimati Radharani, and the Gopis. And those who follow them, they are called Raganugas.
Prabhu, one very important point, this point I was discussing with, there was someone from Ujjain giving a presentation in Spain, I think. And talking about this Raganuga, how to become a Raganuga Bhakta. And we were just discussing like this, that you have to follow someone who is already in that, follow one of the Brajvasis, like if you want to be a cowherd boy, follow one of those. If you want to develop a relationship to serve Krishna like Madhumangal, follow Madhumangal, his mood and everything. But Prabhu highlighted this point that actually our Mahamantra contains everything.
Yeah.
He said, who can be a better devotee than Radharani? So even if you do not have the opportunity to, how many of us can associate with Brajavasis like that? Even mentally, what we speak of, physically, being there, so forth, and having access to. So he was having this very important point that actually just to take shelter of Mahamantra and sincerely chant and try to serve Radha Krishna through that, and everything will manifest. That's something that bring it here. So when we think of it technically, yes, Mahamantra, Radha and Krishna, the Mahamantra contains everything. And everything is in their control, they can reveal that kind of opportunity to us also, isn't it?
Yeah.
He quoted one example, I can't remember what example to understand this.
Jiva Goswami says, Nam Kirtana and Bhagavata Shravan. These are the two important points for us to identify what is our inclination. You know, sometimes we don't know whether we have relationship with Krishna in Dasya Bhava, Sakya Bhava. We don't actually know because we are not at that level. So that's why, as you rightly pointed out, Prabhu, that we should continue chanting our Hare Krishna Mahamantra. At the same time, reading Bhagavatam from page 1 to the last page again and again. What happens? Srila Prabhupada says, after going through many times of reading Bhagavatam, at one fine point, by the mercy of Krishna, one particular devotee becomes your role model. Who that becomes, we cannot speculate. So how that happens? Sincere chanting of Nama Kirtana and Bhagavata Shravan. Then suddenly, just like when a boy becomes 16 years old and then there is a young girl, you don't have to train them how to get attracted. At that time, our consciousness goes to, oh, I should become like a Prahlada. Or maybe I should be serving Srimati Radha. So then our chanting takes that shape. See, Hare Krishna Mahamantra takes millions and trillions of shapes. There is no one meaning for chanting Hare Krishna. So, when we become Madhurya Baba, even Krishna name becomes Radharani's name. When we say Hare, then, oh, Srimati Radharani. Krishna means, oh, the object of love for Srimati Radharani. No, everything becomes Radharani. At the beginning, yes, Hare means, oh, Hare, that's Krishna. So, it's a different levels of evolution.
Yeah. So, I will sum it up by saying, accept whatever supports you. Follow the Brajvasi mood, but also depend on the mercy of chanting.
And the Brajvasi given Bhagavad. This is important. We should keep reading. Maybe, see, it's unique and individual to devotees. We can never say that you are so and so in Goloka. But Krishna will give you a revelation.
And a very important point also, Prabhu, sorry, the time is running, where I know some of us have to go to DGT. Just one last point, that even revealing, who reveals our Swarupa, it's generally said that Guru will reveal it, but in the case of Hridaya Chaitanya, who was the disciple of Hridaya Chaitanya in that past time, where Shaman, Dukhi Krishna. So in that relationship, ultimately Radharani reveals his Swarupa. Not even his own Guru could not understand his Swarupa, Radharani reveals it.
Yeah.
So the point this Prabhu was highlighting that, this revealing Swarupa is a very difficult subject matter. Guru may reveal, Radharani may reveal, Mahamantra may reveal, just,
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But it depends fully on the Mahamantra, power of Mahamantra, and if Radharani wants, she can arrange anyone. Very nice points. So, anyway. Srila Prabhupada, we can derive great deal of support and strength from Srila Prabhupada. I cannot find any example in contemporary time, Prabhu, having so much faith in the power of Mahamantra and holiness. So much power he has, so much faith he had. So we didn't see it.
So people think that, oh, there is no rasa in Srila Prabhupada's purpose, everything is philosophy. No, it's there. They say that Prabhupada says in Krishna reads the purpose in that sense. If Krishna reads, then obviously Śrīmad Radharani reads the purpose.
I was listening to one lecture where Srila Prabhupada asked Pradyumna, okay, read the purpose. So he reads one sentence and Srila Prabhupada comes, read the next. And sometimes we think it's the purpose Srila Prabhupada did it. Actually, Srila Prabhupada said he was simply an instrument. He was being dictated by the Lord. So yes, that's why, sometimes purport is everything. Why we speak so much? But then the more we meditate, more it reveals to us also. So thank you all for contributing and inspiring us on the path of bhakti. We'll conclude here. It's nearly 9 o'clock. Thank you very much. Prabhu and Mataji, Hare Krishna on the Zoom. If anybody has any quick comment, please say so, otherwise we'll conclude now.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for such a lovely class. So we learned so much from here, and thank you very much, Shamanand Prabhu, also always giving us so much into this verse exactly. I was just thinking that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's written, it's a Adi Leela 4:165. The desire to gratify one's own senses is calm, that's lust. But the desire to please the senses of Lord Krishna is prema. So that's a difference, that we are doing everything. There is a love, the material love and all that things, but that is all lust. And this is what the love of gopis for Krishna was there. They didn't have any desire to satisfy their own senses. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So we learn so much from devotees by these Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam classes. It's unfortunate for me that I cannot be personally present due to my disabilities, but I appreciate everyone and giving these wonderful classes. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare. Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Vanshākalpatarubhyasya kripāsindhubhairbhūtya patitanāpāvane.
Kirtana Pavane Vaishnaveyo Namo Namo. Anand Koti Vaishnav ki jai.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki
Ki jai.
jai.
Ranganath Prabhu ji ki jai.
Which is up in here. If you
Which is, yeah,
this time we have to get
Shri Gonithai ki.
Jai.
Hari Hari
You-
Bol.
Thank you. Thank you, Yamuna.
Hari Bol.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.